All right, welcome back to another episode of Generally Assembled, your favorite House Republican podcast. Jason Gottesman, joined by Chairman Jesse Topper, the Education Committee, and representative from Bedford and Fulton counties.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, we are back, and this is the last time we are going to be here before the June budget season ramps up, and just in time for the biggest debate that U.S. state lawmakers undertake every year. We have a full complement back in the House. Representative Jeff Olsemer was sworn into office yesterday, representing Wayne and Pike counties to fill the seat vacated by Representative Joe Adams. So now we're back to 203 members in the House.
Yeah, and it was a special day. It kind of brought back memories for me. I also came in a special election after my predecessor, Representative Hess, had passed away while in office. And it's interesting because when you win a normal election, let's call it, and you come in at a normal time with a normal swearing in, there's an orientation process. You actually go through it, and you get those first couple weeks in January and February where there's really not much on the calendar, where you're just getting district staff up and running. You're learning the process down here, learning where everything is. When you have a special election and you come in the middle of a session, it's a lot different. You don't get that orientation process. Jeff came in, and immediately he's voting that day.
Right, exactly.
Immediately he's, you get stuff going in the district. You got to come down here. It's really a whirlwind of a time, but it's important because, for everybody out there, we represent around 65,000 people or so. And the 65,000 people in that district in Wayne and Pike counties now have a voice again, and that's extremely important. And excited for him, excited for his family. He hopped right in yesterday and signed the discharge resolution to try and move voter ID, something that has been a priority of this caucus for many years, and hopefully something that eventually will get done to really give the voters more confidence. And that's really what it's about, right? Restoring trust in that whole process, and if we can, any small piece of contributing to that, we should do. But he hopped right in there, and it was great to see it, and I think he'll do very well.
Well, so let me ask you this: now that we're talking about being a new member and having to jump right in as you did, how did your perceptions of what it would be like to serve in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives differ from the reality? Because I think for everybody, they're different.
And I was somebody who had been involved in. I've been around politics my whole life. I had been a guest page here with Representative Hess when I was a kid, and he was somebody who had allowed me the opportunity to see how things work, even at a young age. And my dad being a social studies teacher, so government was always something that I felt like I was in tune with. I knew a lot of the members. I had worked with a lot of members before I came on board. So I came with a about as much of a understanding probably as anybody who wasn't on staff or a member somewhere else could come in. And even I was like, oh, wow, this is significantly different than what I thought. And in the ways, some of the ways is just the amount of information. So when you come here, and I tell this to folks back home all the time, you can't be an expert in everything. We vote on stuff from issues from healthcare to energy to education. You're trying to drink out of a fire hose early on. And so you really have to hone in some of the areas and some of the issues that you yourself can become proficient in. And then in the other areas, find people who are as proficient, either on staff or other members who know those issues, and rely on them to help educate you. Because you can't, like I said, you can't come in and think you're an expert on everything. And I think when we do that, when the biggest misperception you have is that you see the issues that are being voted on. When something in the legislature makes a story in the paper, that's one of 300 things. But to you, it's not. To those reading the article, that's what they worked on for the past 3 months.
Right.
No, that's one of 300 things they've been working on. That's the biggest difference, is realizing the quantity, if you will, of issues that are brought before you, and having to kind of sift through and make decisions on each one of them, even the ones that don't make the headlines.
What about time commitment?
That's something that I had a decent understanding of. That the time commitment in the district. You're going to be a lot of nights, a lot of weekends. You're going to be going to a lot of events, especially early on as you're trying to introduce yourself to your community. That's the other thing that people think. Oh, I know everybody. No, you don't. You think you know everybody, but you really don't. And when you have all the fire department dinners, the fairs, the festivals, the Rotary Club meetings, the Chamber of Commerce meetings, back in the district, a lot of that is introduction and listening. If you want to do the job well, you listen at the Farm Bureau tour. You listen when you go and do a tour of a manufacturing site in your district, and you start to understand where folks who are coming at it from a different background than you feel about what happens in state government. Then you come down here and you realize it's a whirlwind. I mean, when you come in, you're on 3-4 committees right out of the gate. One of them is meeting probably every session day, and so the time commitment in terms of learning the issues down here and in terms of learning the issues back home, it's real for those first couple of years. As you have been in longer, it gives you a better feel of that, and that's why I think term limits sound great to everybody, and I always say we have term limits every 2 years. It can be the end of my term. But one of the advantages of having a legislature where members can be in office for a little bit longer, once you get through that initial learning curve, you can start specifically working on more issues at a different level because your time can be refocused a little more specifically.
Well,
and look, I think, but it's also. I'll backtrack one more time to watching Jeff take the oath of office. It is a good reminder for those who have been in. I've been in now 11 years. To try and recapture some of that enthusiasm that you have, because this is a place that can, as a staff member, I'm sure it's the same. It's a place that can really make you cynical. It can take a lot of that joy of what serving the public should be about. And when you see new members come in, you try and help use that to recapture a little bit of that when I cross the Harvey Taylor Bridge and I look up and I see the dome, there should be still some butterflies that kick in that say, wow, this is you have an opportunity to do something. You've been honored with the opportunity to do something that not many people get to do in their life, and that's represent constituents in Harrisburg. So I think that's also a good time for those of us who have been in for a little while to maybe reignite some of that enthusiasm.
Yeah. Well, back to 203. Of course, we still wish Representative Kerwin well in his deployment as he remains on military leave. But our thoughts and prayers continue to be with him and all the Guard members who are deployed with him and under him in their important mission to keep us safe here at home.
Absolutely. And we've seen several of our members since I've been here. I think of Representative Mako, who also was out for an extended period of time.
Yep.
I think Congressman Perry, when he was in the House, was missed some time.
Yep.
But they didn't really miss time in public service. They were just serving the public in a different way.
Sure, absolutely. Talking about public service, the police down in Louisville were in the news. Look. These charges got to be dropped, right? These against Scotty Scheffler. I don't.
So look, I don't know exactly what happened, but those of us who follow it, you can get a pretty good read of a human being, and you can get a pretty good read of the situation that was chaotic, that was dark, and of course, tragically, somebody did lose their life, not in that accident, right? Not in that accident, but that was what caused.
Although my understanding, some pants were ruined.
Listen, that was in the report. Actually, $80 pants were ruined, and I'm like,
beyond repair.
You got to be kidding me. Here's what I would say. I hope that those gentlemen followed procedure to the T, because if they did not, I would imagine that there will be some problems. But one thing that I took out of that whole situation with Scotty and the PGA Championship was, once again, the press conference that he gave after that round. Most guys would have said, hey, guys, I'm not talking today. Or they would have gone up there and blasted the police. He thanked the police.
Yeah.
He thanked the police for what they do. Said there was a misunderstanding, which you could certainly see how that would happen. But once again, handled the situation with such class. He gives really a master class in how to deal with the media and how to present, just a way that everybody looks at him and like, that's a real authentic person right there
Well,
who we love.
I think one of the things that spoke to me about who Scotty Scheffler is there's a lot that's made about how he always says this stuff about being who I am on the golf course is not who I am. It's not who I am. There's a complete division between the person he is when he is in his profession and the person he is at his core. And nowhere do I think you could actually see that legitimately broadcast than getting arrested at 6 in the morning, playing golf by 10 in the morning, and in a major championship in a course with long rough in rain and wind, going out and shooting 500 par. The man just has an ability to mentally compartmentalize while he's on the golf course and clearing his mind of everything else that was going on. And now I'm doing the Scotty Scheffler plan. It's my plan.
Okay.
That I have adopted now that I am doing, which is on Saturday he went out and shot 73, 2 over. And then Jeff Darlington, who had been following him, was there during the arrest and was actually shadowing him throughout the PGA Championship before the arrest even happened. Said he ran into Scotty Scheffler on Sunday. He's like, I'm still not feeling myself, so I'm drinking as much water as I can, trying to feel normal. And I'm like, if chugging water gives you Scotty Scheffler abilities, I am now drinking. I have a giant Tervis that I drink water out of. I'm drinking 5 of these a day.
First of all, that's healthy,
Yes.
right? That's a good thing for you to do. It's a good thing for all of us to do is drink more water. And I here's the thing, though. I don't think that anybody can really capture with Scotty Scheffler is the man has to have a centering ability that is just unlike. Let's keep in mind the other thing that kind of happened like 8 days before he became a father for the first time. Witnessed the birth of a child. Goes to a major championship, 6 in the morning. It's raining. Clearly there was chaos. Players were walking. The
3 miles was Zalatoris
it was. So something happened. We don't know exactly what. It does sound like a misunderstanding. It really does.
Yes.
But either way, doesn't matter. He was taken off in handcuffs.
Yep.
Put in the back of a police cruiser and then comes out and shoots a 66. It's remarkable. It was such a surreal tournament, and again, certainly condolences to the Mills family, the gentleman who lost his life, one of the security guards for one of the vendors. But I tell you what a major championship, and so happy for Xander Schauffele. It was so exciting. I don't know how you feel, Jason. I'm one of those guys. I hear this of major championships. The scores are too low. I don't like to see 20 under par. I like to see great sport. I like to see exciting competition. What we saw with DeChambeau, Hovland, and Schauffele the last day was exciting. It may be the most exciting major I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, it really was. And
I'm okay with it.
I agree with you. I was actually thinking, they're like, oh, this is the lowest score to par in any major championship ever. The collective score to par of all the people in the field is the lowest ever. What are we going to do? These majors aren't. I don't want to go and see professional golfers play a course that is beyond my ability to play and still struggling. I would love it if there was a PGA Tour event at my home golf course. Mm-hmm. I want to see how well
42 under par
Xander Schauffele plays over 4 days at my golf course, because that is relatable to me. Right, that's like we should have one normal guy in every Olympic sport just to see how good these athletes are.
Right,
I don't care how low they go.
I
know how I play. Mm-hmm. I want to see how much better they are on something that I can compare to.
Was anyone not entertained by DeChambeau doing what he did at the end, and then Schauffele having to answer with a birdie on the last hole? But if you make this course so tough that a birdie on the last hole is not an option, well, then you don't get that drama. And we've seen it before. I remember when Retief Goosen won at Shinnecock Hills with 3 over par. Mm-hmm. Does anybody remember that other than just the brutality of the course? No,
well, that was like early 2000s.
Yeah,
right?
but the golf doesn't become the story. The course does.
Right.
I want to see the golf be the story. And if the golf is the story at 1 over par, so be it. But I'm absolutely not of the mindset that these guys can go, quote, too low.
That doesn't bother me. Great golf shots. I love to see him. And
under pressure?
Yeah.
I mean, Schauffele's chip on 10 looked like me. Like he was so, you could just see him. He's so nervous.
Yep.
It came off the toe and didn't go anywhere. And it was an easy up, like for a professional, that was an easy shot. But the pressure got to him. Then he turned it around.
Yep.
That's the stuff. It doesn't matter the golf course. Pressure's pressure.
And even that birdie on 18, it was funny as I was watching it. I had my in-laws over, and I got up when I realized it was the birdie putt. I was listening to it in the background and checking in, and I got up and went
Getting
over to
texts from your buddy Jesse.
Yeah, and I'm checking. I was like, I got to go see what's going on. And I walk in, and he's getting ready to make the putt. I'm like, all right. I was telling everybody at the table, I was like, hey, if he makes this putt, he wins it outright. And I'm watching it, and at the last second, I'm like, oh, that's gonna miss.
Yep,
that's gonna miss.
Looked like he pulled it,
and it lips, and it lips in. And it's funny. I was reading an interview with Sandra Shoffley last night or the night before, and he said he didn't really watch it for like the first day afterwards, and then he started watching it, and he was like, every time I watch it now, I think it's gonna miss. He's like, I don't know how that putt actually lipped into the hole. I thought he was like, immediately I thought it just caught the side and it looked like it lipped in. He's like, no, when you look at how that putt went, it was if it would have
been hit a little harder, it wouldn't have.
It looks like it's going to miss, and then somehow it falls into the hole.
It felt so good for him, and it was good for the game of golf, I think, to have a tournament like that. And I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought a very interesting thing is we're looking at the Olympics coming up. It was the first time that you had two reigning golf gold medalists win on the same weekend. Sandra Shoffley won the gold medal in the 2020, later 2021 Olympics in Tokyo. And then Nelly Korda also won, and she won at the Mizuho at Liberty National also on Sunday.
By the way, everybody, before we come back, there will be a major championship played just down the road at Lancaster Country Club.
There will be.
The U.S. Women's Open.
I'm excited. I'm going. I'll be there.
Oh, good. Nobody's invited me, so I'm
Well,
glad,
I had to take my
glad
wife,
about that.
so I'm sorry. I would have invited you.
That's awesome.
Um,
know where I rank here on Generally Assembled.
Well,
below, I guess it's probably a good thing that your wife ranks ahead of me.
I did make a covenant to her before God.
So that is probably, that's even as bitter as I am right now. It makes sense. I'll let it go.
Yeah, well, but it's exciting. I was there the last. Were you there the last time that they played it there?
No.
I was there the last time. I think I went.
No, if anybody needs a plus
Friday.
one though. Any of our generally,
I'll see if I can scrounge up another ticket. Although I wanted to go on Sunday this time, and even though that means I might miss, and I'm a huge golf fan, so I do watch the LPGA, and I follow the LPGA. I even follow the Epson Tour, which is the Corn Ferry Tour of the LPGA world. Even though it might mean that I'm going to miss out on seeing some of my favorite players on the LPGA Tour,
if they don't make the cut,
right? Yeah. It does mean that I'll be in a position to see when a major champion is crowned in one of the country's ultimate tests.
Absolutely. It's we all who are going to go watch a golf tournament think about that. Like if you go on a Thursday or Friday, you're getting to see everybody.
Right.
You go on Saturday, Sunday, you might not, but then you're seeing weekend golf.
Right.
You're not going to see as much golf. Smaller field, the times are more spread out, but you're going to see the golf that is really coming down to the wire.
And live golf is so much different than watching it on TV because on TV it looks like, you see everything happening very quickly. In live golf, you really need to pick your spots. For instance, my plan is to go at Lancaster Country Club, the par 3 12th that's down the hill.
Yep,
I'm going to go set myself up there and watch people come through. And then,
I birdied the 12th once at Lancaster Country Club.
I had a putt for birdie there the only time I ever played, and I did not make it. It was about a 70-footer.
Okay. Well, that's not really a putt for birdie.
Well, but at least I hit the green.
Yeah. I was 5 feet.
Which is on the 12th hole, it's downhill. The green
I was 5
is very
feet with
slanted.
6 iron.
Well,
I'm just going to show off a little bit.
That's fine. Hitting it 5 feet with 6 iron does not get you tickets to the Women's US Open.
That's fair.
But no, go to 12, watch there, and then proceed because you're not very far away then from 17 and 18.
Right.
And then when the final groups come through at 12, then go position on the final holes to be able to watch them come through. But it's great. I mean, you do get to see these people in person that you only see on TV. I mean, the last time I was there, I saw Michelle Wee. Pernilla Lindbergh, who's a great golfer from the Scandinavia area. Dame Laura Davies.
Oh, yes.
Jessica Korda, who hit this. There was a guy who was complaining about
Lexi Thompson was there, too.
She was. I did not see Lexi, but this guy was complaining about the level of skill. He's an old guy in a rascal, and he was like, this golf is terrible. These women can't play. And right as he said it, Jessica Korda rattles one right off the pin. That guy just got his rascal drum away.
Yeah, let's see you out there, buddy. Let's see you make a
Lancaster
chip under pressure.
Lancaster, especially in that stretch of holes, is very hard. It's a hard
is.
golf course in that stretch. So anyway, major championship coming now. PGA Championship of 2026 to Aronimink. We have the World Cup coming up, and as just announced today, the NFL Draft coming to Pittsburgh in 2026. So.
Hey, this tourism thing by Governor Shapiro is really working in Pennsylvania.
Well, I think we have a lot more to thank for George Washington,
you think a lot of that,
John Adams,
right.
and Ben Franklin.
I think a lot of those events were coming before. So.
But
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great couple of years here for sports in Pennsylvania, as it always is. Ranger Suarez, best pitcher in baseball right now. Let's go Phillies.
All right.
Let's.
Paul Skeens is going to be the best pitcher in baseball,
but
and
Jared Jones, not today.
Jared Jones is darn close.
Don't underestimate the ability of the Pirates to trade them away for pennies on the dollar.
Stop it. Stop it. Don't speak it into existence.
All right, generally assembled for this week. We will see you all here very soon. We'll be in session all throughout June. Expect a lot more episodes. And that's it for this week. You can find us all where your favorite House Republican podcasts are found, www.pahousegop.com/mypodcast. Also on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube. Hey, please like, share, whatever, because we need to get the most views on Instagram, on YouTube here. So we're the flagship podcast.
GA fans,
share,
get out there.
comment, watch, even just put it on repeat while you sleep. I don't care what you do. Get us up there. And, Talking with Doyle is a good brand, but we need to beat them.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Generally, something for this week. We're out.